What's up, guys? Today we're going to do fights that I believe should be made after UFC 312. I'm currently recording this during this Super Bowl. Shitty halftime performance by Kendrick. I just got to say that. Drake better, Drake to go. Anyways, enough with the glazing. Let's keep it to MMA. But I thought both of these fights were pretty good, that being the main event, co-main event. And I thought the pay-per-view overall was pretty solid. Um, but the performances by the champions, Dricus and Zhang Weili, were super dominant. Just amazing performances. And actually, I saw something interesting. Of all the title fights we've had this year, there's not been a new champion. So every champion this year, which would be Marab, Zhang Weili, Dricus, Islam, have all retained. So yeah, we'll see. But we'll start with Zhang Weili. She beat Tatiana Suarez, super dominant. This one's easy. Zhang Weili versus Valentina Shevchenko. That's just the fight to make. There's no other fight to make, in my opinion. Yeah, like I don't really care to see Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot, whatever her name is. I don't really care to see Zhang Weili versus Vernon Jandiroba. I'm sorry, but like, just make this fight. I'm sick of the UFC waiting to do these super fights. Like, I don't want to wait 6 months to see, not 6 months. I don't want to wait fucking 6 years to see Makhachev Topuria. Like, I just make the fight. Just make the fight, UFC. Because if you don't make it now, then it probably will never be made. And I don't want the UFC to miss out on honestly the only women's super fight. To be honest, like no offense to the women's fighters, but there's unless they did like Mackenzie Dern versus Tracy Cortez in a squirting contest, there's no other super fights to be made but Zhang Weili um versus Valentina Shevchenko. So that's the fight I want. I think both women have become pretty well rounded. More so Zhang Weili, but Shevchenko, she knows how to shoot a takedown now. But I'd still pick Zhang Weili to beat her ass. I'm not gonna lie. I am a Zhang Weili enjoyer though. But yeah, no, seriously, Zhang Weili, Valentina Shevchenko would be one of the most high level women's MMA fights probably of all time, honestly. So I would absolutely just love to see that, and it'd probably be the first women's fight that I'd be excited for, legitimately. No offense, no misogyny, but I just gotta be honest. So that fight speaks for itself. I don't gotta sell that too well. Tatiana Suarez now, she lost to Zhang Weili pretty dominantly. I obviously picked Zhang Weili. Imagine picking Tatiana Suarez to fucking beat Zhang Weili. Like what kind of? Anyways, Tatiana Suarez lost. I was really looking at the division, and there's not a lot of options, but I think they should just do her versus Mackenzie Dern. Eh, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's like it'd be a good fight. You got the dominant grappler in Suarez versus the really good jiu-jitsu practitioner, jiu-jitsu artist, whatever you want to call her, and Mackenzie Dern. She gets good submissions, and it'd be an interesting fight. I'd be down to see it. I don't know who I'd pick to win. I'd probably pick. They both can't strike for shit. I'd probably pick Tatiana Suarez to submit Mackenzie. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? It's women's MMA. Let's move on. No offense, Tatiana Suarez, but Dricus Du Plessis absolutely dominated Strickland 50-45. Once Strickland grew that pedo stash, I knew it was going to be over. And once I saw that he had a fucking big staph pimple on his arm as well. This one's obviously obvious. Dricus versus Hamzat Chimaev. Obviously, I kind of want Hamzat to face a Mavov first. I said that in my fights to make after UFC Saudi Arabia video. I would rather see a Mavov fight Hamzat winner faces Dricus, but that's not happening, obviously. So Dricus versus Hamzat sometime in the summer, maybe sometime even earlier than that, but sometime maybe International Fight Week. That's the fight I want to see. Dricus versus Hamzat. That's the fight we all want to see. And yeah, yeah, that's the fight. There's just really not much to say. I mean, like in the meantime, you could probably just do Baraujo versus Imavov, and we'll get to Strickland. But I got something for Sean Strickland that some of you guys are probably going to be surprised by. Some of you guys might not. I don't know. But yeah, Dricus, Hamza. It's just that's the fight. That's the fight we all want to see. And I know you guys know I like Dricus, but I genuinely do think he would beat Hamza Chimaev. But it doesn't matter because I think that fight is still going to be a war. Like it's not, even though I think Dricus beats him, it doesn't mean that I don't think it's going to be back and forth. I think that fight could. I think by the end of that fight, both guys are going to have black eyes and it's going to be blood. At least that's what I hope. I best case scenario that fight ends up being like awesome. So yeah, but also Hamzat has a great chance to beat him too, and there's going to be a lot of Hamzat fans, a lot of Dricus fans. It's going to be really fun to see. So I can't wait for that fight if and when it happens. When it happens, it's not. There's not an if at this point. It's going to happen next. Dana's basically confirmed that Dricus, and yeah, it's going to happen. So Dricus versus Hamzat is absolutely what you have to make next for Dricus. Don't do fucking Pereira versus Dricus. You could, if he beats Hamza and then maybe beats like the winner of a Mavov Braujo, then he can move up and face Pereira. But until then, wait, what did I say? Did I say Dricus? Yeah, Dricus. I don't make Dricus versus Pereira next. Is what I'm trying to say. Do Dricus Hamza. So yeah, that's pretty much it for DDP. Double penetration. As for Sean Strickland, this one was really tough. Because obviously you're not going to do him Baraujo because Baraujo should face a Mavov. I know some people say Whitaker. I mean, it makes sense. But then you could just. But then, what if they want to save Whitaker for someone like Baraujo, though? And then some people say Izzy, but I think Izzy should move up or just retire at this point. I'm gonna go. Well, I already have it in my head, but I don't know why I'm pretending like I'm thinking of it on the spot. I already have it, but I want to see Strickland versus Barack Obama, aka Sean Strickland versus Gregory Rodriguez. Obviously, this is assuming he beats Jared Cannonier, which would be a phenomenal win. I think he does beat Jared Cannonier, and I think him versus Sean Strickland makes sense. My thing really is like I was thinking of the scheduling of it because I know people are gonna say, "Oh, do the Whitaker fight, do the Whitaker fight," or "Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?" Well, Whitaker is probably looking to come back in a couple of months. Strickland is going to want to take a lot of time off. He just broke his nose. He just got pieced up for 5 rounds. He's not going to want to come back in 3 months, brother. Whereas Whitaker is probably going to want to fight in 3 months. And I've already heard rumors of, or seen rumors on Twitter. I don't know what's real or not, but I've seen rumors of him maybe fighting Baraujo. Who knows what they do with a Mavov then? The middleweight division is low key a mess. Low a little bit. It's not as bad as like, ooh, I don't know, like lightweight's kind of a mess right now, low key. Yo, when you kind of think about it, every division is kind of a mess. Like lightweight's a mess, bantamweight's a mess, flyweight's a mess. Featherweight's not as bad of a mess because you have Lopez, Movsar, and Volk. So sorry, not flyweight. Featherweight's good. Heavyweight's a fucking mess because the champ doesn't want to face the interim champ. Light heavyweight's okay because we have Ankalaev, who's a clear contender, so it's fine. But after Ankalaev, then what do you do? Welterweight's good. So welterweight and featherweight, in my opinion, are the only two divisions that are not messes because they actually have contenders. Every other division is just a mess, in my opinion. Middleweight not that bad, but it's a low key a bit of a mess. So I want to see Strickland versus Gregory Rodriguez. Obviously, again, if he beats Cannonier, but it just makes sense. Like Gregory Rodriguez is fighting this weekend. He's gonna fight Cannonier, and if he wins that, which I believe he will win that, probably by stoppage. I haven't done my predictions for that yet, but I'm probably picking him to win. If he wins that, the scheduling aligns him versus Strickland. Plus, I could see that fight being a bit of a war as well. It's a 5 rounder. I could see him and Cannonier having a back and forth war. That could be a sick fight. So, if he wins that, he should fight Sean Strickland. I don't know what you would do with Whitaker or Adesanya at that point. That's for them to figure out, not me. Adesanya should go away until like October or something, or to like the end of the year, or he should just retire. Honestly, just retire, or I don't know. And then Whitaker could fight fucking Anthony Hernandez. All right. Anyways, guys, those are what the fights I want to see. I didn't do any of the lower card fights because, like, do you guys really want to see who I want to see Justin Tafa fight next? Like, Justin Tafa, go to the GFL. Jack Jenkins, like, I don't know, he lost. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you guys don't care about that. You guys only want to hear about the main fights, and these are the main fights. So make sure you guys like and sub. See you guys next time. And for you fucking guys, whatever Strickland says. Peace.